Soil is so important to growing. Where I'm at, the soil is sandy and acidic, and that's what blueberries want. Hi everyone, I'm at the Blueberry Field Day. My name is Chuck. The channel is Around Van Buren. Here, Cheyenne Sloan is talking about soil texture and organic matter.
So I'm just going to talk a little bit about soil texture. So who here knows the texture of soil on their farm?
It's pipestone.
Pipestone, so pipestone clay.
It's really a sandy loam.
Sandy loam.
Yeah.
So here's clay, silt, and sand. So clay, but this will give you an idea. So clay is the smallest soil particle. So you can fit a lot of clay particles in one space. And then another thing that's important to know about clay particles is they have a high amount of surface area. Even though they're really small, they're incredibly irregularly shaped. So there are lots of spaces on there for nutrients to hang out, for water to absorb to, and all of that. So clay is really small and has a high surface area. We're not going to talk a lot about silt because she's just medium. She's bigger than clay. She's smaller than sand. So whatever clay can't, it does a little bit more than clay and a little bit less than sand. So silt is there. It's the mediumest soil particle. And then there's sand. And there's a lot of space in there between the soil particles. If you were a root, which do you think would be easier to move through? Sand. It's a lot easier to move through sand than it does clay. It's also a lot easier for water to move through sand than it does clay. Than clay. And that's because it has these large pore spaces and lots of space in between the particles.
All right, I'm into it now. I'm videoing my first jar test while listening to Cheyenne.
The jar test. Ooh, the jar. Really easy. You take some soil, you dump it in the jar, you fill it with water, and then you shake it up and you leave it for 24 hours. Once you add the water and the soil, you also want to add some alum if you have it. It's not a big deal if you don't. You can also add a little bit of dishwasher soap. No, not dishwasher. Yeah, dishwasher soap. A very little bit. That'll also help break up the soil particles. But really what this does is it breaks up the soil particles because...
surfactant?
Yeah, kind of like a surfactant for the soil. So it breaks things up and so that you don't have as many clumps. You shake it up and then you leave it for 24 hours. So, sand, the largest particle, because it's the largest, it's the heaviest, it's going to settle first. So that's going to be the first part of the soil pile that you get in here. And then you just mark it, and then you measure it, and you're like, oh, it's 60% sand and 2%, and kind of proportion it out, and then you can kind of get an idea what kind of your soil texture is. And then you might be wondering, Cheyenne, what's all this floating crap here on the top? And that is organic matter, which is my favorite part of soil. The more organic matter you have, the easier pretty much everything is. That's why out on the West Coast, they're essentially cheating because some of them are growing in 66% organic matter soils. Mm-hmm. That's insane. So why do we like organic matter? Because it's the best of both worlds. Not only does it take up lots of space like sand does, but it also holds lots of water and nutrients like clay does. And then it's also the gas that makes the soil engine go. One cool thing that's about working in blueberry systems is we're a perennial crop. So we're not taking out 6 feet of corn like some of our annual crop friends are. The roots are there, the leaves are there. Some people even leave their clippings in the same spot. So really the only carbon that we're taking out of the soil are the berries that we're harvesting.
I put a link in the description if you want to do your own jar test. Cheyenne says the more organic matter you have, the easier pretty much everything is. Thanks, Cheyenne.